going all out on the special wrestling portion of the channel. No Tomas with me to recap the show. We miss him dearly, but you know what? This is a familiar face that I'm so happy to bring back to the channel today. Jacob Masters, how are you doing, dude?
Good. I'm doing great.
I mean, I can't see you in there.
Hey, I'm bald right now. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay, dude. It's okay. Well, I mean, how have you been? How have you been doing?
Yeah, as good as pandemic life can be, right? I'm doing pretty well. I was able to see a wrestling show, and I saw an amazing one last night, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I've been really thinking about this show a lot, and I actually did rewatch the whole thing this morning because it was that good. I haven't really done that with any pay-per-view lately, but I think this is right up there. It's got to be up there with the greatest pay-per-views of all time, for me at least. Like up there with Mania,
definitely.
Mania X7, Mania 19, which I just reviewed on the channel a week ago. Like it's up there. It's up there. It's in the conversation because we've got a lot to discuss, and there's so many eventful things that happen on the show that we won't probably get to till the end. But hey, y'all, if you guys are new to this, channel, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can. We are on the road to 1,000. What the heck are we doing over here? You guys are amazing. And hit that thumbs up also if you're gonna enjoy these debates that Jacob and I are bound to get into about the stuff that's going on and the speculation about the future of All Elite Wrestling, which looks very bright. Looks very bright indeed. Tony Khan really knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
It's stuff like, and I was seeing all over Twitter, people were trashing on WWE, and I'm like, why don't you just enjoy the moment instead of trashing on the competition? Like
100%. Yeah. I saw fans from both ends trashing each other. I'm like, dude, this is just an accomplishment of wrestling in general. Like, why don't we enjoy the sport? Right? Yeah, why does it gotta be like those are WWE guys?
Just enjoy it
originally.
Just enjoy it, man. But yeah, we were treated to such a great show. And this is actually, so the first match on this card, I actually did not watch live last night on the buy-in. There was a 10-man tag team match with Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Wheeler Yuta for some reason, teaming up with the Jurassic Express, Local Boy, Jungle Boy, by the way. And they're going against the Hardy family office. Matt Hardy's doing the delete, and he's still very confused. But I mean... It was a fun enough tag team match. Did you happen to catch any of this?
I caught a little bit of it. I caught the end of it for sure. I mean, I like what Matt Hardy's doing with the stable and all that other fun stuff. I think he's a really good like comedic heel. In a way with what he's got going on. So he's like he's not really a good heel, but it's like one of those really bad scary movies that are classics.
Oh man, well he's not like Matt Hardy version 1 funny, but
definitely. Yeah.
I like the I definitely enjoy like what he's built with the Hardy family office, and it's a big stable now. What are your thoughts on Orange Cassidy? I don't know if you've ever talked about him before.
Orange Cassidy, I think he is like overrated.
Whoa!
Yeah,
whoa!
I think the OJ man, I think he's overrated. I like the shtick in the beginning.
He's lazy.
Exactly. I liked it at the beginning. It was really cool, and then like the fans went away. When the pandemic happened, and it kind of like, I don't know. I think when they didn't have anybody and he didn't do a lot, he didn't go anywhere. He didn't do anything. He hasn't done anything in a year. He just he kicks people and then puts his hands in his pocket, and that's
he almost became the world champion a few months ago. I don't know. I mean, I'm still not opposed to it, but I doubt it's going to happen with all these main eventers that are in the promotion now. But
definitely, the most I see is him being a TNT champion.
Yeah, not before Jungle Boy gets it. I'm a huge fan of his, and he actually. He did win this match by making Angelico tap out with his snare trap submission. It was a fun enough tag team match, 3 stars. I wasn't really paying much attention to it, but I mean, from what I saw,
it was cool background. It was a cool background match.
Yeah, it was a nice like little palate cleanser, I guess if you will, a nice little appetizer, showing you like I guess
Yeah,
the featured upper mid carders of AEW, to an extent Wheeler Yuta, who's there. He's lost all of his matches so far, except for this one. But Jungle Boy and Jungle Boy was the right person to get the pin too, I thought, because they're really pushing him.
definitely.
And like
Yeah,
even
Jurassic Express, man. Those guys, they got a rocket. They just need to either get the tag team titles, or one of them need to get a single title so they can help push the other one.
yes.
Which originally you would always think the big man gets, the single push and they get something, and then the little guy gets something next. I think it's the opposite. I think Jungle Boy is gonna hit it first,
Yeah.
and then help out.
Dude, I totally that's a great point. If this were WWE, and I may be saying that a lot through this stream, but if this were WWE,
Agreed.
it would be Luchasaurus that would be getting pushed to the moon. And this is not a knock on
Mhm.
Luchasaurus at all, because he's awesome in his own right.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jungle Boy is going to be the franchise from that group for sure.
Definitely.
Like,
These guys remind me of like Enzo and Cass in terms of like athletic ability and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
If you
Yeah, no,
like when they
I
were
see what
hot,
you mean.
like NXT hot.
When they were
not
hot,
when they're on not when they're on the main roster and it just kind of went all over the place. But
not when
but
Enzo's sneaking into Survivor Series with the most horrible disguise ever. Like,
oh, I know, like no one's gonna recognize that guy.
God. But anyway, yeah, fun enough tag team match for sure. But it's basically show just opening pyro. You don't get really a hype package that WWE would put together, but you do hear JR say it's Sunday night, and you know what that means, as a tribute to Brody Lee, of course. But which is amazing that they've incorporated that. But your opening contest, every single week, every Dynamite, every Rampage, that's what you hear at the top for sure.
Yeah.
Miss you, Big Rig. But speaking of big men, TNT Championship opens up the show. It's Miro defending against Eddie Kingston. I know you love Miro. I know you gotta love.
Yeah, I love God's favorite champion.
Can I just say for the record that he is going all in with this religious type gimmick? Like, I never thought in a million years that Rusev or Miro now obviously would be like a godlike figure now. And I was making jokes last night with like, he's stealing JBL's gimmick, a wrestling god, but
that's true, huh? It does kind of resemble old SmackDown JBL in turn being the wrestling god kind of character. What I really like is that he balances the two, though, right? He's like he acts like a very religious, like I'm God's favorite champion and all this other fun stuff, and then he's very much like that stereotypical like masculine kind of guy where he's over here like, the only time I lay down is when I'm at a hotel bed with my wife, and I'm over here like, bro, really, on television? Like, that's awesome. You're able to say that.
I think
he said it in like a promo package.
Yeah, no, he did, and like we are like I'm sure all of us are still waiting for the day that CJ Perry is going to debut with Miro on AEW, so she can be presented as the most flexible woman.
Was going to be it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's gonna enter the ring doing the splits and like all that shit.
Oh, and take Melina's gimmick.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. But in any case, what do you think about Eddie Kingston? Like,
I've grown on Eddie Kingston. At first, I thought he was just like some like loudmouth dude from like the independent circuit that never really was able to make it. He got a chance, and I mean, he is that kind of guy. But you really could kind of get behind him. Like there was some times where I honestly thought he was going to pick up the victory.
Yeah,
I had no fault. Like I love Miro as a character and what he's doing with the TNT Championship, but I honestly thought he was going to lose it last night, and that would have made for some great storytelling, especially for. Well, I think Miro is mostly on Rampage. I haven't really seen him on Dynamite in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Like I feel because Rampage is going to be the prime TNT show next year with Dynamite moving to TBS. I think next fall.
Oh yeah,
I want to say something like that. So I think they're going to want to start featuring the TNT title on Rampage every week, like just to start kind of getting
that would
used
make
to the
sense.
pattern. But in any regard, like I totally agree with you. There were a couple points where Eddie Kingston could have won feasibly, but this was a really, really good opener after rewatching it. Like the first time I watched it live, I was like, this is okay. Big hoss fight. They're just kind of hitting each other really hard. Miro's jumping around, which is inhumane for a man of his size.
Like, oh my god, yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
Massive.
He's massive and he has the dexterity of a freaking deer, like he's jumping all over the place, like he's hitting drop kicks on Kingston and he's chopping the crap out of him and Eddie Kingston is chopping him right back. The crowd was chanting "Redeem these nuts" at the beginning, which I laughed at.
That shirt, I need that shirt.
We all need that shirt when it goes on sale now, like that would get dress coded if we were in high school,
Oh yeah, 100%.
If you're under 17, do not buy the Eddie Kingston Redeem These Nuts shirt, unless you're high school.
Unless you want to wear it up, inside out.
Yeah, unless your high school is really generous with this dress code. But in any regard, there was a point where the turnbuckle pad comes off the buckle. I don't know if this was after the game over, his Accolade submission hold, but
the first attempt, I believe.
Yeah, it gets to a point where a turnbuckle pad comes off, and Eddie Kingston hits his Saito suplex, and then the referee was putting the turnbuckle back together. And he missed the count initially, and the crowd was so pissed off at this referee. They were so mad. They started chanting. "You fucked up" at him, which I think was. I think that might have been a little too far. I mean, I get they were pissed that Kingston wasn't getting the pin, but
yeah. Well, like I said, that's why I thought like Kingston could have won, but like I mean, he could have, but it was one of those like screw jobs where you don't know if it was a work or if it wasn't. Right? Because sometimes you're right, the refs aren't always in the right time in the right place.
No.
Especially when they're like, oh yeah, I need to pretend to put the turnbuckle on and then take a bump, right? Like,
are they ever in the right spot though? Like,
no, not necessarily. Unless you're Charles Robinson, then maybe.
Yeah, little Nate, senior official over there. But anyway, but Eddie Kingston does go for a move. He's looking to hit Miro into the exposed turnbuckle. Then the referee stops him, and now the crowd is really, really heated. Like, I noticed they were kind of throwing stuff at this referee, which I was like, no, that's very uncalled for sure. Definitely uncalled for. But
not professional.
not professional from the fans at least, but the referee stops Eddie Kingston from performing the illegal maneuver, which allows Miro to hit a low blow, an illegal maneuver of his own, undetected by the official. Got to cheat to win, and then basically hits the Machka kick and retains. Good opener.
Yeah, that was weird.
No, he didn't make him tap, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed that. Like Eddie Kingston at least can look strong in defeat, and Miro needed to cheat.
That's very true. Plus, I mean, like if you've seen his like Accolade now, right? Like it's not like how it used to be. Like he yanks it back, like it looks like it hurts.
Yeah, bending poor Darby Allin in half when winning the title. Like Jesus Christ.
Darby's taken like worse though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That guy could have like a undead gimmick, and we'd all believe it.
I mean, he's kind of like the face paint there. He's kind of half dead right now, but I mean, as far as his opener goes, I feel comfortable giving it 3.5. It's a good match. It's better than I thought it was initially, but I don't know. What final thoughts on this opener?
On the opener for me, I mean, like just because I'm a little bit of a Miro stan, I would honestly give it like a 4. I like the drama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like the drama. I like the brutality. I like how hard both of them were hitting each other because you could tell that there was like some actual like real hits or animosity between the two. And then also, I mean, like it's Miro, man. Like he's God's favorite champion.
It's Miro Day. It's always Miro Day.
Always Miro Day.
Every day is Miro Day. Check on your calendar. It's not Labor Day today at the time of recording. It's Miro Day.
I'm getting paid because Miro is the champion.
There you go. That's awesome. Hey, there you go. Yeah, but next up we do see the brand new GCW World Champion Jon Moxley, who took the title from Matt Cardona over the weekend in a huge shocker.
Is that what the internet was going ablaze about yesterday?
Yeah,
I
and
could not figure out.
Yeah, that was Mox's. That was on Mox's jacket too. He was wearing a GCW jacket, and he was getting those chants too. So he took the title from Matt Cardona, presumably to set up a death match with Nick Gage at some point down the line. But he's got to go through the gauntlet of New Japan first, because he's facing Satoshi Kojima, who I had no idea was 50 years old. 50.
A man's 50?
Yeah, and he's in phenomenal shape. That
was a good match last night too.
It was really good. Really, really good. I've also got to note that this Wild Thing song for Moxley is still, it's really grown on me. I was so thrown off by it at Double or Nothing, but then at the same time, as I've heard it more and more as he's coming out and the crowd's singing along with him, I'm like, this fits him. This fits him for sure. Fits into a T.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Vince did not know what he had. He did not know what he had. But
yeah.
Too soon. Yeah. Too soon. 2 years too soon. But yeah, Kojima wanted a handshake early on, and then Mox gives him the middle finger. He was working heel in this. He
really is. But I feel like Moxley is, I can't compare him to like Austin, right? But like in that type of attitude that Austin had when he was like, I guess when he was working with the McMahons, right? Like when he turned heel that way.
Yeah.
I feel like Moxley was he's kind of working it like that. I mean, how can you do a 50-year-old man who still is wrestling and looks like he wasn't even 50? I mean, our reactions from just a couple of minutes ago. I mean, like, the dude was 50 years old, traveled across the world to have a match in Chicago.
Looks like he was 20 years younger, and he was chopping the hell out of Jon Moxley here. He was really laying it in
red.
There. Oh my God, dude. Like, there were a lot of stiff, there was a lot of stiff work on this show. Like, they were really laying it in. I'm happy nobody got hurt, no major injuries, but geez, they were really laying it in. I liked the match, but there wasn't really anything too spectacular about it, especially when you compare it to everything else after it. But pretty standard. I mean, they were hitting brain busters. Fans were chanting AEW, obligatory AEW chants at some point.
I have to chant something.
Yeah, they got to chant something, not "This is awesome," because that would be too early for a lot of matches. I've got a bone to pick with some of these Chicago fans. They were chanting this. They were chanting "This is awesome" like way too early in the opener, even. Like, it didn't really get
God's
awesome.
Favorite champion, man.
I know, but like, don't chant "This is awesome" unless it actually is awesome. The whole thing,
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Like, the match didn't get awesome until the very end, but. We
have a long way before we get there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see an awesome main event at Raw in San Diego, so they're AJ and Riddle. So
yeah. Like, wait, did I?
Good match. You forgot it was AJ Riddle. Yep.
It's such a blur.
Yeah, it's okay. But Mox does hit the paradigm shift a couple of times. Basically, just pins him there. 3 stars. It was. Pretty standard, but not a bad match by any stretch. Definitely very physical.
Yeah. I mean, I'd give it probably like 2.5, just because of the fact of like, it was a good technical like wrestling match. And like, I was watching a little bit of like New Japan stuff just because like, I know Moxley's working both areas at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, how is their stuff? And their stuff is really stiff. And I honestly like the stiff wrestling. It's pretty great. But you're right. It didn't really do anything. It didn't progress the storyline, at least for AEW. I'm sure it progressed the storyline for New Japan.
Yeah, it definitely progressed the story for New Japan, especially with the pretty boss aftermath. So Mox is getting up, and then unfamiliar theme song hits, a song I've never heard before, at least. And wouldn't you know it, Minoru Suzuki comes out, and Mox can't believe it. And then they actually do get physical. If this was WWE, Suzuki would have just stood there and they would have had a
Yeah.
stare down to build up to the homecoming. But they actually do get physical. They actually start stiffing each other right in the face. And Mox's elbow was bleeding too at this point. And there was a point where I was watching the show and I was like, God, how did Suzuki get all that blood on him already? And then I realized Mox was bleeding throughout the match. So.
Yeah, you had to find the camera angle that showed John. And you're like, oh crap.
Yeah. His arm is bleeding.
That match, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see. I'm glad they like opened it up because like Moxley doesn't have that facial expressions of like where he was like saying like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Or like he's shaking his head. Like,
yeah, Mox's facial expressions are phenomenal, and I'm actually so what happened like during this aftermath was basically Minoru Suzuki hits the Gotch style pile driver on him, makes me think Mox is winning, for sure. 50-50 booking dictates that, and it's his hometown. So they did announce it on Dynamite, or they did announce that it was going to be on Dynamite later in the show, but I'm excited.
I feel like that might be the main event. I mean, that's going to be a good match.
It has to be. Malachi Black can do with one opener at some point in his stint here, so it's okay.
Oh yeah,
it's okay. It has to be. But it was certainly a badass moment. Minoru Suzuki was laying it into Mox, and there was a point where Mox was selling, and he was like, "Hold on, I'll hit you again." It was funny.
Yeah,
funny stuff.
Yeah, take a minute.
Yeah, gotta recollect. But speaking of recollecting, here we are at the AEW Women's World Titles match. It's Kris Statlander challenging Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. How did she get that most obnoxious thing over as a heel? I have no idea, but
I don't know, man. Especially with her being out of action for a while last year during the midst of the pandemic. I mean, she was like on it every week.
Yeah, she has really come into her own really as the women's world champion here. She's been champion for about 4 months now. She's made a few title defenses here and there. Kris Statlander was quietly undefeated going into this match, and this is an alien style gimmick that's built around a boop. It's built around a boop.
She's the alien girl. I found that weird.
I loved it, and Orange Cassidy comes out with her. I'm sure it made your day seeing Orange Cassidy out there.
Wow.
But, and it was really funny commentary too. JR was like, man, Orange Cassidy has said more words to Kris Statlander during this match than I've heard in all 2 years of him.
Yeah,
he gets so motivated.
Emotion.
Like he got really motivated. There was a point where Statlander was on the outside, like just selling, and the referee was counting her out. D.M.D. was just going to take the count out. Orange Cassidy gets all fired up and in her face and like, get back in the ring. You do it right now. And I was like, shit, and she got back in the ring.
Yeah.
She did boop Dr. Britt Baker when she was going for the thing. It was so funny. But it was, I liked this match. I didn't like it as much as Baker's match at Double or Nothing, but it was still pretty solid.
I love watching Britt Baker's matches, whether they're title defenses, interferences, or whatever. It's just something to do with how she like controls the crowd and just how obnoxious she is, thinking like, oh, I don't have to do this. I also have this other career. But she got like the title thing over. Yeah. And then won a world title on top of it. So, she got 2. So I'm waiting for her to, bring that in. And then Statlander is like a favorite of mine. I mean, before she got injured, I thought the alien thing was super, not to make any puns, but out of this world kind of stuff, right? Like, right? But like, it's something that nobody's actually that I know of has done on a main company stage, whether it's WWE, Impact, or WCW. Yeah. And like, she was making it work, and she's a phenomenal athlete. And then she came back, and she looks like a freaking monster.
Yeah. I mean, she came back after, I believe, like a ACL tear. I want to say, I could be totally wrong about the injury, but
it was something with her knee because she had a new brace.
She did. She looked really, really great in this match. I will say, if I were to nitpick anything about this match, there were a couple of points where Statlander's selling was a little bit off, and I wish that she could have sold things a little bit better. But I mean, no real complaints here. I mean, the doc was the doc. She's as good as she's ever been. And there was one point in the match. So the last few minutes of this match were absolutely incredible. These near falls thrown in here. She misses, Statlander rather misses the area 451. And the Doc tries to get the lockjaw in there, but it's been unsuccessful at this point.
Didn't work.
No, but she resorts to using a Panama Sunrise, which is a this will come into play for later. That's for sure. It'll hint at something that happens after the main event. That's for sure. But it's, and they called it the Pittsburgh Sunrise if it's Dr. Baker, because she's from Pittsburgh. But
she does it.
I jumped out of my seat when I saw that. I was like, no way, she hit the Panama Sunrise. But yeah, somehow that wasn't the finish, but it turns out she does lock in the lockjaw after hitting a curb stomp, and Statlander passes out. Statlander passes out to the lockjaw, doesn't tap out. Again, making your challengers look strong in defeat, like Eddie Kingston. So,
definitely, and leading into something more for later on.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. But what were your overall thoughts on this?
The overall thoughts, man. I mean, like, the match was good. It was a little slow in the beginning, hard to pick up after, towards the middle. The ending was really great, especially like the out of the ring work. The curb stomp outside the ring, and then that Panama Sunrise. That should have been the finish of the match, but she has to hit her submission. So I mean, if you got to hit with your gimmick, hit with your gimmick.
Yeah, you gotta. So, I mean, she's a dentist. She's gotta give them lockjaw. It's great.
Yeah, she's gotta mess the teeth up. She gotta have her supplemental income.
Yeah. Mess up the temporomandibular joint right there. So,
okay, big words now.
Yeah, I don't know. I researched what that does. So it's lockjaw is not fun. It's not fun at all. But I would give it 3.5. It was good. I mean, the last few minutes were definitely the highlights of the match for me. The Panama Sunrise notwithstanding. I got a question for you about this curb stomp, though. Do you think Seth Rollins is seething somewhere that she's using his move?
No. I mean, curb stomp, it was like his finisher, and then he stopped for a while. So I don't think he can lay claim too much on it. I mean, Seth Rollins also has curb stomp, the pedigree. He's got that, like, spinning knee thing,
the ripcord
he does. The ripcord knee. So no, I don't think he's seething. I mean, unless he actually believes that Britt Baker is selling it better than he ever has, then
there you go. That's awesome. But I do have to note before we get into this incredible next match, we unfortunately did not get to see Andrade El Idolo go one-on-one with the Bastard Pac on this show because Pac was having travel issues. And at first I was like, this has to be related to like the COVID like travel stuff that's going on. But I mean, how much they were pushing it in storyline and how the Lucha Bros had a match canceled on them for the same reason. Like, I feel like this was a gimmick. Like, maybe they just cut that match because there was too much going on. But
I mean, it maybe. I mean, the card was extremely stacked, but at the same time, too. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell if it was really a work or not with it because of how much they did push on it. So it's either you could be right, it could be COVID related, and they're like, you know what, this is perfect. We're just gonna push the story that, hey, maybe they messed with his flight. Like, I mean, Chavo is like, yeah, I don't have directions or direct connections to American Airlines. I mean, if he took American Airlines, then I'm like,
oh man,
that was subtle.
Had to get that shoot in there. Had to get it in there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but think that Chavo was paying homage to his uncle also when Andrade was like trying to get his attention. He was like, hey, Chavo, what did you do with the travel? And he was like, who, me?
Yeah, right.
He was so flustered. He was so flustered when they were talking about that. It was great. But keeping on the subject of the Death Triangle, the Lucha Brothers are challenging the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships inside a 20-foot high steel cage. I don't know how tall this thing was. But, brother, where do we even begin with this? Where do we even start?
You begin with that amazing entrance from the Lucha Brothers.
My Lord.
I didn't understand a word any of that entrance music was saying. Right? I mean, like, I don't even understand what Rey Mysterio's music was coming out back in WrestleMania what was it, like 23 or whatever, when he had his song
when he
debut.
won the world title, I think.
Yeah, when he won the world title.
Yeah. I think
It
22 or 23.
It kind of gave me that kind of feel, but like you could see and hear like the crowd like roar, and then when it came out, the pop, and then like you could tell that they were feeling it, like down to the ramp, and then it was just that whole experience right there, that like 5 minutes, however long it took them to get to the ring and do their stuff.
Yeah, and they were
Yeah,
wearing the Chicago
headdresses and
Bulls
stuff.
gear and the headdress. Like I don't want to knock this match any, because this is my match of the night ultimately. But like as soon as they walked out, I was like, these motherfuckers are winning the titles, aren't they? Like they don't get this grand entrance if they're not winning, you know?
I mean, but that's the thing. It always could swerve, right? So like for me, I'm over here like, dude, the Elite has been like on top for like the longest time. Like there's no way that they're gonna strip belts, especially from the Young Bucks. I'm like, there's no way that these guys are gonna beat the Young Bucks on All Out. But then they had that grand entrance, and you're right. You're like thinking, hey, they might actually win, but I'm not gonna put my money on it because once again, it's the Young Bucks with the Elite. So
yeah, and I was sitting here thinking it was going to be the Jurassic Express inside the cage with the Bucks, but this, my friend, in all honesty, this was a million moves a minute. This is junk food wrestling personified. Like the Young Bucks, like I've already said that they're the best tag team walking the planet right now. I don't know what the fuck was up with Nick's facial hair on this night. Like it was like two different colors. Like
he bleached it,
yeah, like he grows out his natural color, like with facial hair, and then he like colors in black, like mutton chops, and like a stupid little like. It was so strange. It was so strange.
Soul patch.
A soul patch, thank you. Yeah, soul patch. But it like he came off super obnoxious, you know, like both the Bucks did.
Yeah.
But
even the commentaries said that like on the way down. Like, what in the world? Like, okay.
What did he do with his facial hair? By God. You know, but
the Jim Ross, by God.
I mean, this match, honestly, it's tough to summarize everything that happened in this match. There was a whole sequence of trade-off cutters. These guys were hitting the cage very, very hard.
And very early.
Yeah, very, very early on, too. There was a big, nice Hurricane Rana sequence off the ropes where, like, both teams were kind of helping each other out achieve the move, which was kind of strange, like, unintentionally speaking, but really, really cool. Really, really cool. They were pulling off a lot of amazing moves in this match. Just a big sequence of cutters and stunners everywhere. But then you do have Brandon Cutler throwing in the gym bag, helping out the Bucks, and it was a nice toss too. Like, give him credit where it's due. He's kind of a dweeb, but you know,
he got it in there.
He got it in there. You know, Matt didn't catch it, but Matt then reaches inside the gym bag and he pulls out the PWG thumbtack shoe gimmick, and this is where the match got really uncomfortable.
Well, let's just talk about the fact that those were some very expensive, limited edition, like I guess some Travis Scott shoes or whatever.
Yep.
I'm not a sneakerhead, but I was watching this at work, and one of my coworkers is over here. He said the name of the shoe, and I was like, "You know what the shoe is?" But you don't know who's wrestling. And he's just like, right, two different worlds. And he's like, yeah, he's like, those are like $600-800 pairs of shoes, and this guy put thumbtacks on.
No, he totally did.
I was like, yeah,
he totally.
He's got the money. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, the Bucks are loaded. So Matt puts the shoe on, and then he goes to super kick Fenix, and I believe this was, I think right before this is when they were tearing the masks. Also,
yeah, he had like half his mask on.
Yeah, they were tearing the masks like Rey Mysterio 1997 style. So they go to super kick
Rey Mysterio anytime style.
Yeah. There you go. But he goes to super kick Rey Fenix, and then Penta goes in front of him, and he's willing to sacrifice himself. Then Matt super kicks the living crap out of him, and I don't know how this guy wasn't dead at that point. I was sitting there like, God, I hope his family's not watching this. And lo and behold, his family was watching it. His family was
Right?
watching
Yeah.
it. But I mean, BT triggers. Tony Schiavone at one point asks, "What the hell are we watching?" And then JR says, "A classic." A classic. That's what
Yeah.
this was.
Classic.
Ray Fenix, I mean, Black Fire Driver off the shoulders, almost like a muscle buster in some ways. Penta hits a Canadian Destroyer off the freaking top rope. Like,
Wow.
good lord, dude. It was,
Wow.
I was, I was into this from bell to bell, but the moves they were pulling off were something to see for sure. And you think the Bucks are gonna get it done. They're just beating the crap out of them. But then the Lucha Bros make the comeback. The crowd is chanting Cerro Miedo the whole way through, and I'm like, they're fucking gonna win the titles, aren't they? And
yeah, at one point you think they're not, and then they have that second win.
oh yeah, it was just a million moves a minute, too fast for me to take any notes. And I'm glad I didn't take any notes during this match because I really freaking enjoyed it. And the ending, I'm just looking at this play-by-play real quick. Fenix goes up to so Fenix goes up to the top of the cage, right? And like they're planning on doing like the double team maneuver that their finisher.
Yeah, I thought they were going to, yeah.
Yeah, the assisted pile driver. I thought they were going to do that, but then
yeah.
Nick cuts them off, and then Fenix just decides, you know what? I'm just going to leap off the cage onto all three of you. So that's exactly what he does. He yeets him. That's exactly what he does. He yeets himself off the cage. They all catch him, thank God. And then they hit the assisted pile driver one more time. Brand new tag champions, the Lucha Brothers, and I'm so happy for those guys. This match gets 5
100%.
stars. This match gets 5 stars, my friend.
Wow, all right.
This is my match of the year so far, if I'm being honest. It's certainly better than Roman, Bryan, and Edge from Mania 37 was my favorite match of the year up to this point, along with Omega, Orange Cassidy, and Pac from Double or Nothing. But this beat all of them. It blew.
And that's saying something. It's a tag team match.
In a cage.
Also in a cage.
Yeah, and it was just brilliant tag team psychology. They were breaking up pins all over the place. This is the match that Jacob, I'm sure you play SmackDown versus Raw at some point growing up.
Did. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. So this was the multi-man cage match that you could never win on Legend difficulty unless everybody was in the purple, like on damage. They were just spamming moves all over the place. It was,
or their overall was below 80.
It was a thrill ride. It was a thrill ride. I felt like I needed a nap after that match, and
it took a lot, but the Chicago crowd, man, they kept it going.
Yeah. But what were your thoughts on this?
You're right. I mean, this was definitely a match of the night. I'm a mark for a different match coming up that I would say is a match of the night, but it was I mean, this was extremely a good tag team match in a cage against what I thought would have been an overpowered tag team. And I mean, I even liked the sequence that they did, right? They did chop after chop after chop on all four of them to super kick, then jumped up and super kicked again. Like no one else can make that work in any other company or in any other tag team. I don't feel like they could have made that work. And for something that's so ridiculous that you're like, but that's pro wrestling.
Yeah,
they made it work. And then the end of the match was amazing. You felt the emotion that they were pouring out, especially once they heard the bell ring and the cage start to lift up. I mean, that pitch perfect would have been if their family was able to come in the ring, and it would have been like a story time. Mwah. Lovely.
It was great. Penta was motioning to somebody out in the crowd, and it turns out that his family was there to watch the bloodbath, but they were there to see Daddy take the belt home. So that was such a
definitely
cool
4.5 out of 5 for sure.
Oh yeah, no, I love the match too much to really go anything under 5. My buddy, Tomas, who could not be here tonight, did say that this match got 6 stars from him breaking the Melter scale. But
oh dang,
I don't know if I can. Well, because the Lucha Brothers are his favorite tag team of all time, and I'm sure he'll be gushing about them next time. But
I'll see him in the comments.
Of course, yeah. Check it out in the comments. Yeah. Feel free to let us know what you thought of All Out down in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. But I mean, I'm so happy for the Lucha Bros. The Young Bucks had a great run on top, but I think it was time for a change at this point. It was time for a change. Even though the Lucha Bros, I didn't think were going to be the team to do it. Lo and behold, here we are. The Young Bucks, I mean, they have the Bucks number for sure. They've beaten them almost every time they've stepped in the ring with them. So,
yeah, especially when you check out the win-loss records. Yeah, I think.
Yes.
What is it? The Bros have the most on them.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, very, very excited to see where the Lucha Bros go from here. Whether or not they join up with Andrade and turn heel, that remains to be seen. But after this, we do have to have a cool down after that massive roller coaster. Funny enough, we do get the women's casino battle royale, which is sort of a cool down. I mean, it was a cool down up until the ending, but this is like, yeah. What do you think of this? What do you make of this concept, by the way, the casino battle royal?
It's definitely really cool because it goes off of the Royal Rumble, which is my favorite pay-per-view match of the entire year, before it was cool. And I like the fact that, AEW's thing is like this casino battle royal, because it can't obviously call anything being royal or anything like that and have it be an infringement. And I like how it's like certain groups are different suits, and then like there's always that Joker, and the Joker doesn't always have to be somebody coming in from outside. It could be a return, it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be a new signee. Hell, the Joker could be somebody that's only doing a one-night stand that maybe, like, I don't know, say it was like years ago, say it's like Medusa or Sunny coming over, kind of thing, like a one-time stint. Or hell, AJ Lee, that would have been awesome.
Could you imagine?
Right?
AJ Lee was at home apparently on this show.
Yeah, I thought she would have been. I thought she would have been at the show, but she apparently, wanted to stay home with the dog.
Yeah, staying home with Larry. But I mean,
but I love the concept.
Yeah, no, and they go off of like the suit and a deck of cards in the order of which they're entered. And the Dapper Yapper says, "Now let's shuffle the deck and see what's first." And first up is the same exact suit we get at Double or Nothing, which is the clubs. And I do believe that it went in the same exact order they went in at Double or Nothing. I could be wrong, but I do remember that Christian Cage was the first one in, and he was a club. Jungle Boy won the whole thing, and he was a spade, the last suit to enter. And that's the same exact thing here. So I'm like, did they really shuffle the deck here? Or did they really just like...
they kept the Titantrons the same, and they're like, copy-paste.
Yeah. But in any case, the clubs are made up of Hikaru Shida, Emi Sakura, the Bunny, Abaddon, and Sky Blue. Sky Blue, very, Sky Blue is a hometown favorite. The crowd was furious that she was the first one out. Absolutely furious. And I'm like, well,
she's like super green though. Hasn't she only been on like AEW Dark?
Yeah, Dark or Dark Elevation, and Tony Khan gave her the opportunity to shine in that battle royal.
Yeah.
And then so here's my thing, folks. I have said on pod in the past that Abaddon is freaking terrifying. Like if
we're gonna get into this,
yes. If Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt comes into AEW, I would love for him to team up with Abaddon at some point, just because their gimmicks are so similar. It can really help elevate Abaddon to that next level where I think she belongs. And I even said it to Watts. I was texting him. I was like, "Watch, Abaddon's gonna win the whole thing." What happens though is the bunny or Ali tosses Abaddon out shortly after Sky Blue is. I sat there and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed and I just could not believe it. I was like, really, you're burying her. You're burying her.
Yeah, I felt so bad because Abaddon she's an interesting case. I like to in terms of like her gimmick, her look and everything, I like to compare her to how back in the early 90s, how those kids looked at The Undertaker and were super afraid of them and everything. I'm a grown-ass man at 26, and I hate staring at her watching matches. I'm like, I would be scared if I saw her coming down a ramp if I was at a live show at AEW. But you're right, they are burying her, because I remember when AEW first started, I would see her like every week, and she'd be like wrestling these good matches. I mean, as good as they had at the time. And then she was like disappeared. And this is the first time I like seen her on like AEW like, television that isn't dark elevation in a while. And I was mad too that she got eliminated so early, because she has something there that could have been shined through. Yeah.
You don't say. Like,
I mean,
man, like she could be like, she was like biting Hikaru Shida in the neck in their title match earlier back in January, and Hikaru Shida just busts right back up, and she like wins with the Tamashi. I'm like, what's the point of this gimmick then? What's the point if Shida's just not going to sell it? But regardless, the next 5 women are the Diamonds with Anna Jay, 99 from the Dark Order, girlfriend of Jungle Boy, by the way. Kiera Hogan, Kylan King, Diamante. So it's basically just the Dark Elevation crew here. And Nyla Rose rounding it out to clean house, basically. Nyla Rose, I believe, eliminated. Nyla Rose eliminated a bunch of people, including Hikaru Shida, who I did not want them to interact once. I've seen them wrestle so many times over this last year, and I'm so sick of it, but...
You're like, something new, please.
something new. But shockingly, Nyla Rose did eliminate Hikaru Shida pretty quickly. And I was like, I could have sworn Shida would have gone the distance here.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I mean, I thought being Nyla Rose coming in at last, like I'm actually surprised like Vicky Guerrero didn't get involved in any way. Like just being on the side or something.
No.
I know she hasn't been very much, but other than a mouthpiece. But like she's been physical before, so I thought maybe something would happen.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, there were a lot of managers that were going to the backstage area, which I actually don't mind. I mean, they usher them to the stage, and then they're like, okay, I'm just gonna dip backstage and make sure it's one-on-one. But the next suit out are the Hearts, Thunder Rosa, who is a heavy favorite coming off of the Lights Out match with Dr. Baker. Penelope Ford, Riho, who I was very happy to see. Jamie Hayter and Big Swole. Very happy to see as well. coming out of her injury, her time on the shelf. But I mean, Riho was eliminated very quickly, and I think the camera missed it.
She's super. Yeah, I don't think she was caught going over those ropes.
No, she's super tiny, quick as a hiccup, as JR would say. Blink and you miss it. I think the announcers for sure missed it. Big Swole was eliminated fairly quickly. But then you get the next 5. Ty Conti, my favorite one coming into this.
Yes, fan favorite.
Like I think everybody is a stand for Ty Conti over here, but I would have loved to have seen her win this, but judging from who the Joker was, we'll get to, and it was the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. But Ty Conti, Red Velvet, who I still don't know who it is, even though she got a title shot. Tomas is going to love that one. You still legit Layla Hirsch, who is tiny. Jade Cargill, who is ripped to the bone. And you also have Rebel, not Reba. Britt Baker's receptionist.
Yeah, Rebel, not Reba.
Yeah, Britt Baker's receptionist.
I heard Britt Baker's theme music, and I knew it was Rebel. And I was just like, I heard the music, and I was like, oh, it'd be so sick if, like, the champion was like, I'm going to be in this match, you sit in the back kind of thing. That'd be such a heel move to do, right? Because, like, Lesnar did it a couple years ago, like, at the Royal, or in 2019, at the Royal Rumble. And, like, not saying that she would be, like, as dominant as Lesnar was or anything, but, like, how cool would it be that, like, they're all fighting for a shot for the women's championship? And the women's champion's over here, like, I'm going to make sure none of y'all get it.
And she would just go ham and eliminate everybody, right? Kind of like Jade.
She would have a flurry.
Kind of like Jade Cargill had a flurry, tossing poor Layla Hirsch out into the third row. I was
Oh,
like,
I must have missed that.
geez. Thankfully there were a lot of people to catch poor Layla Hirsch going to the floor. But
Yeah.
then there's 7 women in the ring, and then the Joker card hits, and the crowd is
Before
chanting. Go ahead.
before we get to the Joker, though, hold on.
All
Before we
right.
get to the Joker, let me ask you something. Did they or did they not a couple of weeks ago hint that the Joker says it's all about her? And whose gimmick is it's all about me?
Tennille Dashwood.
Right?
Yep.
I could have swore
Oh,
that
that's
Tennille
such
was
a
gonna
good
be
point.
it because they said that, and JR is like, oh God, like, or something, or so one of them said something about like, oh God, yeah, one of those again. And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's interesting.
really, is the Joker being Tennille Dashwood? But then the curve is we got somebody, not somebody better, but somebody where they're buzzing on the internet, which go ahead
Somebody
and
big.
do your thing now,
Yeah.
Major. Somebody huge, yeah.
The crowd was chanting Ruby Soho because they knew what was coming, and they did get
Yeah.
Ruby Soho. And she
Yeah.
and her gimmick looks like her jacket said Destination AEW and her tights said The Runaway, which I think is an excellent nickname for her. It so fits her. And she looked like she was so giddy and happy to be here. Like
She looked like she was gonna cry because she heard that reception.
She got such a huge pop,
Yeah.
And what happened was, so there's 8 women left in the match. Crowd was so behind Ruby Soho. Let's see. I'm just looking for final 3. Oh yeah, so Ty Conti eliminates Penelope Ford. And then what happened was Nyla Rose knocks Ty Conti off of the apron, and I thought, bullshit. Because
she was outside of the ring, and you thought she wasn't gonna get bumped off.
I know, but I wanted Ty to win. Damn it. But Nyla Rose ruined my night. But in any regard, final 3 are Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, and Ruby Soho.
Oof.
It was getting really confusing when I was watching the show. I was like, wait, which Rose are they talking about here? Because there's 2 of them now. But it gets to a point where Nyla is on the apron, and then Thunder Rosa just kind of drop kicks her off. Thunder Rosa eliminates her all by herself. For some reason, I thought they teamed up, but I don't think so. I don't think they did. No. Yeah. Thunder Rosa eliminated Nyla Rose. God damn it. I'm getting confused myself just hearing that name back.
All the Roses.
Yeah. All the Roses. One Rose eliminated another, basically, all by herself.
Yeah.
So it goes down to a nice sequence between Ruby and Rosa. And Tony Schiavone did say, I'd love to see this just a regular singles match. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Me too.
Put it on Rampage Friday.
Yep. Put it on Rampage on Friday. That'd be interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But they're like, this was a nail biter of a climax here because they were like hanging onto the ropes and they were reeling. They were reeling on the apron and they were like holding on and like reeling back. I'm like, man, these girls are gonna tear their shoulders out or something. But thankfully they did it.
Yeah. I had a feeling that like Ruby Soho was gonna win, but like towards the end, like you're saying, like they were reeling at the end and everything else because they're outside of the over the top rope. But you just had that feeling that it's like, no, there's no way this is Thunder Rosa's moment.
Nah, I think they're gonna wait on Thunder Rosa. I think she is gonna be the one.
She has momentum.
I think she's gonna be the one to take the title off of the Doctor eventually, but this was Ruby Soho's match to lose as soon as she walked out there. And lo and behold, she does hit the detonator kick and she wins the match. She's presumably, I'm guessing she's going to get the title shot at the stadium show, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that one. But I mean, this is a 3-star battle royal. It was fun for like a little palate cleanser to calm me down from the cage match, but so happy.
No, definitely.
Yeah, so happy for Ruby Soho, and I can't wait to see what she does with the promotion. Can't wait.
Yeah, I agree. 3 stars.
Yeah. Speaking of people who I can't wait to see get off of my island, it's MJF time. Time.
Yes, this match. Oh my God. Yes.
MJF versus Chris Jericho, and the stipulation is if Jericho loses, he must retire. Now, Jacob, this is a feud that has been going on for 9 months. 9 months. which is
crazy,
ridiculous long-term storytelling. I loved it. It dates back to Full Gear a year ago, where MJF beat Jericho there, and he basically got to join the Inner Circle because of that, and then he turns on Jericho not too long after.
In the Inner Circle. Yeah.
Yep. And the Inner Circle all turns babyface because of it, because MJF is just a massive prick. That's what he is.
Oh, dude, he is the best freaking heel of like the last like few years, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, anytime you go to a convention and MJF is signing there, he will refuse to look into the camera lens when you take a picture with him. He will refuse to shake your hand. He will
just be like,
acknowledge you. You know, he will roll your eyes if you try to shake his hand. You know,
he's like that. He's that restaurant that you go to that are jerks to you. That specific restaurant, right? He's just a traveling restaurant. He's that one.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he's getting in fans' faces. He's basically having a grand entrance of his own. There was a point where Jericho's Millennium Countdown clock from 1999 in his WWF.
Tell me you didn't think that was Jericho.
Oh no, I knew it was MJF instantly. I knew.
Oh, I thought it was Jericho, because I figured, I was like, oh, he's gonna lose then.
Yeah, no, but lights go down and then the pyro goes off, just like Jericho's Attitude Era entrance, and just like his Attitude Era Titantron, it says Jericho's last match on there in the revolving letters, and I was like, beautiful.
Dude, did you hear the boos that came through on that screen? Because they weren't even like on the live crowd, but when it said Jericho's last match, you could just hear it through.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh yeah,
loud.
I would love to be in an AEW arena just to hear how loud it is someday. But
seriously, come to California, man. Come on.
Please, can we have Revolution in like the Cow Palace or something? I'll be there, Tony Khan.
The Cow Palace. Oh, I'll fly up.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. If it's in like the Staples Center or something, if you can book the Staples Center, I'm there. But Jericho got a cool entrance of his own with his actual guitarist from Fozzy playing Judas down to the ring.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the crowd was kind of offbeat though? Like
they were
behind.
Definitely were. They were definitely behind on the lyrics. I think I knew what he was going for, where they had the stipulation that Judas couldn't be played a couple of weeks ago when they had their match or whatever, and they were trying to do that again. But they fell off a couple of times up until, he gets in the ring and everyone knows the lyrics after that.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the same every time, obviously. So.
It's just the chorus, But here's a staggering statistic. So 2 of them, actually. MJF going into this 3-0 against Jericho. And MJF is my age. He's 25. Jericho is double that. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
I did not know MJF was that young.
MJF is 25 years old. So I think his future is extremely bright. Let's just say that. I don't know if you feel the same, but does he remind you of a young Randy Orton?
Ooh.
Like, I don't know.
You got me thinking.
Just the way he carries himself. I don't know. I just can't help but see that.
Yeah, arrogant, cocky, knows he's freaking good.
Better wrestler than Randy Orton was at that age, for sure.
No, yeah, for sure. And he's not rushed into a title picture. He's like, nah, I want to make this guy suffer in Jericho, or he's just good at what he's doing. Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I never thought of that.
Okay, thank you. I'll take that.
That's gonna go on Twitter.
I'll take that. Yeah, MJF is a young Randy Orton. But it's, this was a very, very good match. I mean, these two were just callbacking their entire feud up to this point. Jericho's arm was in that brace. MJF locked in that arm bar a couple of times. I think there was a point where there was a sick DDT on the apron, or somebody was hit on the apron. What it was is Jericho hit like a Kevin Owens powerbomb to MJF, hitting
on the apron. Yeah.
So I'm like, Festival of
Friendship.
Probably
was a callback. Yeah.
Festival of Friendship.
Festival.
Yep. Oh man. And I brought that up to another friend, and they were like, too soon. Don't bring up the Festival of Friendship. It's too soon. I'm like, 4 years is too soon for the Festival of Friendship.
Yeah.
But
come on. That was such a bad, cool, like, thing.
So good.
Segment.
So good.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so Jericho hits a lion salt for a close 2 count. Jericho is going for his Frankensteiners. It's really, really good wrestling. MJF was selling that lower back injury, which is key for the finish of this match. Jericho was on offense. I think he hit an avalanche code breaker, and then Wardlow comes out for the interference, and the crowd starts booing Wardlow, but then soon enough, they burst into cheers when Mr. Personality Jake Hager makes an appearance to even the odds. You know, I really don't see like what the big deal is about Jake Hager at this point. Like he's
I don't
there.
either. I think he's
there.
Just another wrestler.
He's there. He's another guy. But in any case, so Jericho. Oh no! So what happened was his referee Aubrey Edwards was distracted by the fight going on outside, and then MJF grabs Floyd the baseball bat and he hits Jericho with it. And Excalibur with the call of the night was like, did Floyd just turn heel on Jericho? I'm like,
yeah,
I loved it. It was fantastic. And then I think, did MJF hit a Judas effect before pinning him? Oh, I think he did. He might have.
I don't. I remember there was a false Judas effect from Jericho, and then he did, because Jericho went for a false one. And then MJF hit one. And then I think that's where we lead up to that pin, that unsuccessful pinfall.
So, yeah, what Jacob is referring to, my friends, those of you who've seen the show know this already. MJF hits the Judas effect, covers Jericho. Aubrey counts 2. Jericho's foot goes on the ropes, but Aubrey doesn't see it. And then she counts 3. And there's one thing before we get into like the aftermath of all this. Aubrey was really trying so hard to be lenient with Jericho. She did not want to count him out, which I think is a huge 180 from All Out, especially last year or like 2 years ago where Jericho first won the title. Aubrey and Jericho despised each other. And now Aubrey's here trying to...
it was like a Stephanie Jericho kind of thing.
Or like a Triple H Earl Hebner type of dynamic from 2000.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
like Earl one Hebner. Of the two. One of the two for sure. Like Jericho, you're a shitty referee. But I'm sure he's not saying that anymore.
No.
But so Aubrey counts 3. Jericho's foot is still on the ropes, and the Dapper Yapper announces MJF the winner, and he's very somber about it. And then there's another ref that was sitting backstage, comes out and tells Aubrey what he saw. Basically tells her, you fucked up, restart the match. maybe not that harsh.
Which never happens in pro wrestling.
Maybe not that harsh. But it felt right out of Cena versus Orton from SummerSlam 09, where they restarted the match like 3 million times. Remember that? Like,
ooh, yeah.
It was so it was so ridiculous.
Out of nowhere.
But, yeah. Excalibur was saying it was bullshit that MJF won and Jericho's foot was on the rope, but the announcers really wanted Jericho to win too. They were trying to be unbiased, but they did not want MJF to win this match. They didn't want Jericho to have to retire. But
definitely. Well, no one wants to see MJF win or hear the fact that he retired Jericho.
No. I mean, we got to hear for about a year that Roman Reigns retired The Undertaker, so I feel like we can stomach anything at this point. So,
he didn't even do that.
Undertaker showed up the next year at WrestleMania. AJ Styles retired him. Yep. So, MJF was livid. The bell rings. Jericho rolls him up. If that was the finish, I would have been... That's fine.
That would have been great.
That's fine. I would have loved that. But it does get even better. MJF locks on the Salt of the Earth armbar a couple of times. Jericho tends to roll it into the walls, and he's in the walls for a while. And MJF, the little bitch that he is, finally taps out, and I was so happy to see that. Jericho's career continues. What'd you think?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
I honestly, I like the ending. I like the reset of the match because at one point, Jericho's in that submission hold. And you're right, he rolls over and stuff. But the twerk that MJF is putting under that arm, like he did before, I'm over here like, oh shit, he's gonna tap. Like so many times, I thought Jericho was legitimately gonna tap because of the twerk he was putting on the arm like he's done before.
Mm-hmm.
And like he did the roll up, and I was like, awesome, cool. And then he rolled back into it, and I was like, oh, never mind. This is how the match is gonna end. And then once he got him into like the lion tamer, man, perfect, absolutely perfect. Yeah, and the fact that he won, I was happy that he won because now Jericho can continue on doing his thing. He's got his one win off over MJF, and I'm hoping they don't copy the storyline with Edge and Seth Rollins are doing right now. Seth is like,
Oh, I hope not.
congratulations, man, and everything.
No.
Because I could see that being a story with MJF being like, you know what, you won, congrats or whatever, but I'm still gonna beat your ass every week, like I've done the last 9 months, right?
I think this is
But
the end of this feud, though. This just feels
I
like
honestly
the
I hope
fitting
so.
end. Like, because
Yeah,
there's
especially with the Inner Circle coming out.
there's a better match with MJF that I'm waiting to see, and I'm sure you'd be super pumped to see it, judging from who his opponent would be in this match I'm thinking of. But yep, but here we are, folks. Basically, one of the reasons why I ordered this pay-per-view, the reason why I was excited to watch this, and actually, you know what? Yeah, so just as a side note, folks, one of the main reasons why I wanted Jacob on this show is actually because I know how big of a fan he is of this gentleman that we're talking about, and I know how excited he was. But here he is, CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen, one-on-one with Darby Allin. Let's go. Yeah, his man, his Stan. We're talking CM Punk. I can't believe it.
Oh no, dude. No one could believe it.
I mean, it was speculated for a while, and they were telling us like in the weeks building up to it without explicitly telling us that CM Punk was going to be on the show. Like Darby Allin was saying, of course I'm going to be at Rampage in Chicago. I'm going to take on the best in the world. And then as loud as the crowd could, they were chanting CM Punk's name, and the camera was zooming in on a guy chanting CM Punk at the top of his lungs. What did you know it? Here he is, wrestling for the first time in 7 years. I had tears in my eyes. I'm not afraid to admit that. I had tears. I'm sure Jacob was bawling on the floor.
I wouldn't go that far, man. I was giddy. I was definitely. I'm not a very emotional kind of guy. I'm not very giddy like that. But
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Like it was the worst, best keep secret that they have, and that's not a Buddy Murphy kind of slogan, right? But it was one of those things where it's like you tuned in on Rampage, that second Rampage in Chicago, and if CM Punk did not come out, that probably would have been a very bad turn for not only AEW but Rampage as a show and the turnout for All Out, right?
If it were WWE, they would have waited until the end of the show to pop a rating to make sure CM Punk comes out at the end. But Tony Khan cut right to the chase. CM Punk's music was the first to hit on that show. He could have talked for as long as he wanted to. Also, ice cream bars are on sale at the arenas now. Like, it's brilliant. It's brilliant marketing.
I want my hands. I want my CM Punk ice cream bar. I've been waiting since the WWE ice cream bar.
Hey, I heard those ice cream bars are stupid and delicious. So, I mean, I'd like one myself. So, yes, cookies and cream. They're delicious. But CM Punk, of course, comes out to a thunderous ovation because it's his hometown. The crowd is singing his theme song as they should at every show from now on. And the crowd does chant "It's clobbering time" with him on the stage, which I thought was super awesome. It was super cool. And Punk was in great shape, but can I just say how thrown off I was that Punk was wrestling in tights as opposed to trunks? It was.
Dude, tell me, I was hoping you would bring that up.
It was so strange. Like, I was standing there. It took me a second to get used to, but like, I mean, it's cool gear. It's cool gear. Don't get me wrong, but like, it took me a second to get used to. It was kind of jarring. Again, I never thought I would see CM Punk wrestle again in general, but like in tights.
Yeah, but wrestling in tight. Like, I honestly, the way he was speaking, like on Rampage and every show afterwards, about how like he wasn't trying to be, mean Phil Brooks or mean CM Punk, like how he was towards the end of his career at WWE. I honestly thought he was going to go back to Ring of Honor days where, he was wearing the shorts with the kick pads up to his knees kind of thing. But the tights threw me off. But I was really expecting to see like old Ring of Honor shorts, CM Punk. Yeah. If not, regular underwear, because he was saying like, I gotta, buy my trunks. I don't know if they fit.
I gotta get new trunks made. But the match does start. Darby Allin is sitting in the corner, and I should note that Sting ushered him out to the stage But Sting did not accompany Darby Allin to ringside for this match. He basically went to the back because basically just had to make it one-on-one as fair as possible. Darby was sitting in the corner Raven style, and then CM Punk like looks at him, and then he sits crisscross applesauce, as we know he loves to do. He's staring a hole right through Darby Allin, and the crowd is chanting, "This is awesome," before they even touch each other. Touch each other. You know, and that one, I'm willing to give them a pass. Yeah, they're freaks, but you know, I'm willing to give them a pass on that. But, so this was your match of the night, then I'm guessing.
How could it not be? I mean, I would have put, you know, the main event as match of the night because Kenny Omega like puts on a classic all the time, but that's later on. Yeah, no, most definitely. I mean, this is CM motherfucking Punk coming back after 7 years, after all of the turmoil and all the drama and all the spill that has been on the internet, from, you know, Cabana's podcast to, you know, Vince saying something on Stone Cold's podcast on the network to, you know, allegations here and there with, you know, the lawsuits and everything. It all you know, comes together on this one match to an opponent that does remind you of like a younger CM Punk. I mean, credit where credit's due. Darby Allin is his own person, and he is like definitely something special to where he doesn't fit that mold kind of thing, right? And
Darby Allin,
basically,
sorry to cut you off. Darby Allin has absolutely no fear. Absolutely no fear. Also, like he is.
He could have Daredevil's nickname, the man without fear.
Yeah, like he jumps out of a freaking helicopter on the on that little like vignette that he had before he made his entrance. It was so bizarre, that entrance, but I mean, you know, it fit the grunge that he's going for. But he actually, it's interesting you mentioned that he reminded you of a young CM Punk, because to me, because of his daredevil tactics, he kind of reminds me of one of CM Punk's greatest rivals, Jeff Hardy. You know, and I think that's
the
why
spirit kind of thing. Yeah,
I think that's why they melt together so well. Is CM Punk, like, you know, that was one of my favorite Punk feuds growing up, is Punk versus Hardy from 2009. So I think
that was like the best feud.
Yeah, Punk wanted to recreate that magic. I'm assuming he's going to turn heel and feud with Hangman Page at some point and talk about alcohol.
Yeah, where is Page?
He's on paternity leave. His wife is going to give birth at any moment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why he didn't get the title shot tonight, because he asked for the time off. So, paternity leave. So, this was, this match was actually, I thought it was honestly kind of slow at the beginning, but, you know, Punk is just kind of feeling things out. You know, he's
for sure.
I don't want to say he's rusty, because in all honesty, Punk it looks like he didn't miss a day. It looks like he was right back in business, if I could use a WrestleMania term for a minute. I mean, he was hitting all of his signature moves. Like, it was his greatest hits, basically. And he was paying tribute.
Tell me that coffin drop.
Oh, that coffin drop. Okay, yeah. Do you want to talk about the coffin drop?
Oh, sure, man. That coffin drop, I'm over here like, he gets up on the rope, he does the go to sleep motion, and he's got Darby tries to do the coffin drop, and it was such an awesome reversal, because he took his time, he got arrogant and got cocky, and then Punk just sits up like Undertaker. And I swear, if he did the same kind of like Undertaker haha thing he did at SummerSlam with Lesnar, that would have been fucking hilarious.
Would have loved
that. But he got up and he just laughed, because he was just like, this kid.
Yes,
kind of
this kid, you know, he's kind of like, okay. And he does pay homage.
My favorite spot of the night.
Yeah, no, it was so cool, paying homage to some of his greatest opponents, Undertaker, John Cena, even calling spots as loud as he can, just like Big Match John does. Well, I mean, not loudly, but like you could like visibly see that CM Punk was like in Darby's ear and being like, hey, but you're gonna go off the ropes, kid. But I mean, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. It just shows he's back to his. This is Punk going back to his fundamentals, basically, after 7 years. And Darby was absolutely the right opponent for him, because Darby is smaller than CM Punk. So Punk could throw him around the ring as much as he wanted to. Punk does hit the GTS. He hit the GTS early, and Darby took a sick, nasty bump to the outside. I was like, this kid's gonna kill himself at some point. Like,
break his back or something.
Darby's in his mid-20s too. Like, I would like to see him wrestle another 20 years, please. Like, that would be great. But yeah, Punk looked really good. You know, I just can't.
He did, yeah.
I cannot get over like how like amazingly he wrestled this match after all that time away, and he's hitting like his signature knee in the corner. And the one thing that I feel like was missing from this match that I really wanted to see Punk pull out, because he pinned Darby Allin with a GTS and he won in Chicago. Was there any doubt? You know, because like I saw.
I mean, unless you want.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No,
I mean, unless you want Darby Allin to be completely heel, then that would have been the move.
Yeah, because the crowd wasn't really cheering Darby. Well, they were cheering him, but they weren't. I meant to say they weren't booing him. They weren't really booing him until he did this. You know, until he did the go to sleep.
He got cocky.
Yeah, kid got cocky. He got a little cocky. You know, but yeah, there were a lot of people who were actually predicting Darby to win this match and get the upset. But I'm like, no, they can't do that in Punk's first match. He's not going to come back and job in his first match. But he basically beats him with the GTS. But I wanted to see CM Punk pull out the Pepsi plunge, because if anybody can take a Pepsi plunge, it's Darby Allin. Like, that's the one person that I trust to take that move right now. But
nasty Anaconda Vice.
Or yeah. I mean, he can pull that out against another technician, though. That's fine. But this was
like a Daniel Bryan if he was around.
Maybe, yeah. If only he was around. If only. But I mean, was there any doubt? CM Punk wins in his return. He looks fantastic. This is a 4-star match. This is a 4-star match for me. Kind of slow.
Technicality, I would do 5. It was my match of the night.
There you go. That's it. Of course, because it's Punk. Because it's Punk.
CM Punk, man.
Yeah, no, he looks. Give the devil credit where it's due. And I've said I mean, we did a pod like a year ago, and like I feel like I've said my fair share about CM Punk being like, oh, like he's never gonna come back, yada yada yada. But hell, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. He looks like he's in the healthiest spot of his life, and he looks like he's in the happiest spot of his life. It's just awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I'm looking forward to what's next. I think we all are.
CM Punk versus MJF, please. Can we have those promos?
Oh my god, that'll be a year feud.
Can we have those promos? Like,
yes, please.
Have you seen the picture of CM Punk at a meet and greet with young MJF smiling into the camera? Have you ever seen that?
Dude, that'd be great. Yeah.
Like if they do that feud and they don't put that picture into the build somewhere, it will be the most egregious thing and most ludicrous omission ever. But I mean, yeah, Punk has got so many opponents lined up for him. I can't wait to see what's next. But I mean, after the match, Punk shakes hands with Darby. He shakes hands with Sting, which is such a weird dream. I felt like just Punk and Sting.
I thought Sting was gonna do a Scorpion Death Drop. The entire time I was like, dude, don't put your back to him. Don't put your back to him. That's all he needs.
If it were WWE, Sting would have turned on Darby Allin there. He would have turned on Darby Allin.
Yeah, because he lost. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to say the Sting and Darby Allin partnership has run its course, because I love the fact that Darby Allin is basically just Sting's son, and Sting is dropping him off at school every time he goes and has a match. But that's what he is. That's what he is. It's like Sting is like, what? He's like 62 years old. Darby's around my age, if not a little bit older. Like, he's coming out with a skateboard and Sting is driving him to school. Like,
yeah.
That's so
okay. Speaking of the
silly.
skateboard, tell me they wouldn't make a ton of money if they sold that skateboard on mass production.
Oh my god, no, not enough.
I haven't owned a skateboard since high school, and I was over here like, I want that board.
Not enough people are talking about that design. It was basically underneath Darby's skateboard, and you see it in his entrance, but you have half of CM Punk's face alive, but then you have the skeleton underneath on the other side, and it's Punk doing this pose. So like the one you saw in the CM Punk is all elite banner everywhere. So I mean, I would buy that skateboard. I can't skateboard worth a shit, but I would buy that just to have like Darby and Punk sign that thing. But I mean, it'd be cool.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, definitely a great match. But Yeah, you got to have a cooldown. You got to have a cooldown at this point. It's well, it's the Big Show, Paul Wight going one-on-one with QT Marshall, who I hate.
Oh, that cooldown.
Who I hate. You know, QT Marshall, I don't understand like how he's as like. I mean, he's not over at all. He's basically just
no.
Cody
You gotta
Rhodes
say it
over.
right. QT Marshall.
Yeah. You know, like I was gonna ask
Marshall.
you,
Marshall.
the Dapper Yapper says Marshall, and I'm like, have we been saying it wrong the whole time? I mean,
he could what is it? He corrected Tony Schiavone the other week.
Oh God. Oh, Marshall.
Yeah, that's why I think. That's why I'm like. Oh,
gotcha. I see. But QT Marshall goes up one-on-one with no more BS. Paul Wight. I mean, this is just a squash match. Like Paul Wight was having fun with. Paul Wight was just having fun with the crowd at this point, and this is his first match in what, like over a year, I think, because like he wrestled briefly. Like he had that. I know he had that unsanctioned match with Randy Orton in the Performance Center a year ago, but and then he signed with AEW not too long after. But in any regard,
did he? Oh, he did, huh?
Yeah. That's when Randy Orton was going through that tear. Like he was kicking all the legends in the head. He kicked Christian Cage in the head, but
he kicked them all to AEW.
Yeah, he punted them all to AEW. In Ric Flair's case, it would be. In Ric Flair's case, it would be NWA. But in any regard, it's he's basically just beating the shit out of the Factory and choke slamming QT Marshall. QT Marshall, apparently, that's what he's going by now.
Marshall.
Most of us assume that this would be a short match, and Paul Wight went over. It went only 3 minutes. Can you believe that? Only 3 minutes for this match.
Yeah, because it was definitely not a squash. It was a squash match, I should say. But I don't even think of it like a match. It was kind of like, I don't know. I'm one of those fans that are just like, great, it's the Big Show.
Yeah, cool. Well, it's the Big Show. You know, it's
it's time for a piss break.
It's wow, easy, no piss break here. But I mean, well, that was QT Marshall's entrance for me. But I mean, if I were to rate this is probably 1 star. I mean, it accomplished what it needed to. It was basically it was filler between the Punk match and the main event, which we'll talk about right now. But speaking of the main events, here we are. AEW World Heavyweight title. Kenny Omega is defending against the Impact World Champion, Christian Cage. Doing this everywhere. I have a question, Jacob. Do you think Christian Cage outworked everyone on this show? I don't think he did.
I definitely think he tried.
He tried to.
He tried. I mean, you have to think about the stuff that came before. I don't think, even though Punk's match is my match of the night, I don't think anything could follow that steel cage match.
No, not even close.
No.
Not even close.
That was. It's not as high up, but it's equivalent as WrestleMania 25 when you had like Michaels and Undertaker, and then you had right after Orton and Triple H, and they're like, you can't follow that.
Yeah, because this crowd
in that aspect,
especially after the Punk match, which a lot of people were speculating was going on last, actually, which I wouldn't have minded.
That would have been weird.
It was Punk's hometown and all that, and it was his first match in 7 years. But I mean, the world title wasn't the main event on Double or Nothing, so I guess he kind of got to compensate for lost time. But I mean, Christian looked good in this match. He did not outwork CM Punk for sure. He did not outwork Jericho or MJF. I don't think he certainly did not outwork any of the guys in the tag team match. It's just I don't know.
Oh God, no.
Just that mantra is just like, I love Christian. Don't think I'm knocking Christian at all. He's my boy, but like, I mean,
I think his outwork style is the fact of like his age range and his generation. He's outworking where he is grouped in.
I see. Yeah.
Because there's no way he can outwork like an MJF, or he can outwork like the Lucha Bros in a tag team match. I mean, with his buddy being in another company for that matter, or even outworking a CM Punk. I mean, that man's hype in general outworks Christian Cage.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even think he outworks the champion in this match, Kenny Omega. He's like, I mean,
He
you
hit
did
spots.
you did the finger point. He was on another level in this. As the world champion, he's held the title now longer than Jon Moxley, which is now a new AEW record. I mean, you assumed he was hitting it. But I mean, this is a very well worked match. But my big nitpick with this match actually comes with the tables.
The table spot. Yeah.
Omega stomps a table down on Christian, and then for some reason he quotes Urkel afterwards. Did I do that? And I'm like, where did that come from? Where did that come from? Are you just being obnoxious?
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. I don't know. I like the Urkel thing, but that goes with what happens after the match.
It was just so random. Like in the moment, it was very random. But
did he say in the moment?
He said it after the table spot, the table double foot stomp.
He did say that. Okay,
yeah,
I thought we were talking about post match.
He did say it, but
I must have missed that.
I mean, if they're not going to disqualify people for using weapons in a regular match, you might as well just make it a no-holds-barred match. Because they already had a regular match on Rampage where Christian won the Impact World title, which feels like I'm in a time
which he
warp.
Came out with.
Yep, he came out with the title belt. Yep, I thought he would.
Yeah.
I thought he would. He retired the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and he's just coming out with the Impact's title now. But it's this was the crowd was pretty silent for this match. They were just kind of sitting there watching it. They were kind of into it, but I mean, these guys were working hard. This was a very good match though. I really liked it on the rewatch, especially. Christian does that like cross body like over the ring post, which is nuts. A man with that many concussions should not be doing that, but there he is.
He's a world champion in some company.
He is a world champion. That's true. That's very true. I mean, there's Snapdragon suplexes. Omega's doing all his greatest hits, V triggers, way too many of them. More than any Dolph Ziggler match with super kicks in them, but you know.
Oh my God, Dolph Ziggler.
God, I don't want to talk about Dolph Ziggler right now, but it's so Omega tried teasing a suplex off the apron, which never was going to happen with who his opponent was, already retired.
Yeah.
But Christian, I mean, there was even a point where Christian wanted a kill switch off the apron through the table. Not going to happen either. So Christian spears him off the apron through the table, and I'm like, just make it.
That was a cool spot.
It was a cool spot, but like, just make it no holds barred. If they're going to use the table, at least tell us that there's qualification.
Yeah, you hear the commentators even say, like, mentioning it. They're like, oh, the referees are being extremely lenient because they want to see this match go right down the middle. And you're like, no, dude, like, you guys forgot to mention that this is a no disqualification match, and these guys can do what they want.
At least be consistent, like,
yeah,
like that match would have ended right there with the table spot if it were WWE. Just saying. At least they're
or even if they just kept with the match rules.
At least they're a little bit more consistent with the rules. I'm not saying that WWE is better than AEW in that regard, but at least they're a little bit more consistent. But Christian, I mean, they're back in the ring, and Christian is hitting frog splashes. There's a point where he hits the kill switch, and the damn Elite comes out and interferes like you knew they would. Anderson and Gallows. Anderson has really started rubbing me the wrong way, especially with the things he said on Twitter in real life. He just feels kind of bitter and kind of toxic. But I mean, I don't know. Who am I to say?
It could be his gimmick. I mean, it could just be who he is. You're right. Yeah.
Could be. But he does hit the kill switch, and then Omega, of course, kicks out of it this time. Christian chased the Don Callis out of the... Did I say the Don Callis? God.
You did say the Don Callis.
I did say the Don Callis. He's got the Brian Kendrick gimmick now. But is it just me, or was Don Callis kind of cosplaying as a Pepto-Bismol bottle tonight? Like he was wearing all pink, and he's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
Like you.
Oh, pink's obnoxious color, man. It goes with him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he wasn't cussing on commentary this time, but in any regard, you do have Christian. So they're on the top rope. The fans were cheering for Christian at this point. Kind of took a second to warm up to Christian, but it felt like there were more cheers for Omega in this match. I don't know if that was just you.
No, I definitely heard more like loud pops when Omega would do something than when Christian did, which was odd because Christian was the babyface in the match.
Yeah.
Right. He's the quote unquote underdog and the only man to beat Omega, technically.
That's very true.
Clean.
That's very true. He did pin him clean with a chair kill switch that the referee didn't see. But
I mean, like I said, technically.
I mean, at least they were consistent with the rules in that match. So the referee
that's a good point.
The referee didn't see him
TV.
use the chair. It is TV. Yeah. Why were they more consistent with their rules on TV than on pay-per-view? Like,
because people pay for the pay-per-view. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose so. But ending of the match is Christian is going for a kill switch off the top ropes, which is bold. And then Omega counters it into something even more bold. A one-winged angel off the top rope on Christian, of all people.
Crazy spot. Crazy
spot. And you could have counted to 100 at that point. Omega retains the title. Yeah, really, really cool move. Really cool spot. I'd probably, if I'm being really nice, this is a 4-star match as well. But if I'm being like honest with myself, this is probably 3 3/4.
I was gonna say it's a 3-star match for me. Yeah.
Oh, only 3. Only 3. Okay, for sure.
Only 3. It was spot heavy. I didn't feel like it like pushed any story forward. For those two guys, there wasn't like a definitive like, oh, this is the end of their feud with Christian, or this is the end, or this is the beginning of something new. With Omega, it was just kind of.
Yeah, for sure. It's only the beginning of something, that's for sure. Because after this match, we got a big thing to talk about. So a couple big things, actually. So Omega starts celebrating, and the Young Bucks somehow, some way, after that 5-star cage match earlier, are walking down to the ring with obnoxious-looking ice packs on their back. They come out to celebrate with Omega, and then they start kicking Christian. And I'm like, how are you guys even standing after that cage match? You guys are nuts. But they're beating the crap out of Christian. The Jurassic Express tries to go out and even the odds. The crowd starts chanting, yes, 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 because they sort of know what's coming. But nothing happens as of yet. Omega gets on the horn, and as Omega starts talking, I don't know if you noticed this, but the Good Brothers actually did hit a magic killer on poor Marco's stunt on the outside of the ring as Omega started talking. Like, as Omega started talking, they hit the magic killer, and I'm like, damn, poor guy. But Omega basically is like, yeah, best in the world. Who needs a best in the world? Anybody who can beat me is either retired or already dead. Lights go out, and it's fucking Adam Cole. And
baby,
this shirt is very dated now, clearly, because I don't have his new one. But I lost my mind. I couldn't believe it. Like, he was at TakeOver not even 2 weeks ago.
August 22nd was the TakeOver. I was just checking that out with my wife, because I was showing her on Instagram. I was like, and she was like, "Oh, that guy's there," meaning Adam. And I was like, "Yeah." And I went on NXT's like Instagram, and I went back because Kyle O'Reilly won, and I was like, "Oh yes, he was August 22nd. He was there." So
2 weeks.
I guess he signed he signed like an extension or whatever just to do the match, and then boom.
Yeah, it was
I did not expect him to be there.
No, I did not expect Adam Cole to come out, and he comes out with similar merchandising on his Titantron, the black and yellow look. It's so great. You cannot trademark his real name. You cannot trademark Adam Cole Bebe. The crowd does that in perfect sync. And like, I was telling Tomas literally, like, I was sitting there. I was like, you think Adam Cole's going to be a babyface? He's like squaring off with Omega. You think? Yeah. And then he super kicks Jungle Boy as soon as I say that to him. And I'm like, are you shitting me? Because it makes sense, because he's best friends with the Young Bucks. So, he's got to team up with them and rejoin the Elite. And, he basically, he cuts a short little promo saying, ain't no chance in hell that nobody is going to stop the Elite. Cheap shot to the lunatic sitting in the chair, who he did have a good conversation with on his way out the door. So it's not like
there was rumors about that for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever. So it was really cool to hear that line.
Yeah, but so shocking. The Young Bucks give him kisses on the cheeks, and Adam Cole is just like the giddiest little boy. And Omega's like, "What? You thought he was gonna be the one to beat me? We're pals, we're best buds." And then he was like, I guess it's time to send the crowd home happy. Goodbye. And before he finishes it, who comes out, Oof. Jacob? Who comes out?
You hear that sweet symphony. And boom, you got Bryan effing Danielson. You got the crowd chanting, yes. It's crazy. Not Daniel Bryan, his actual name, Bryan Danielson.
If you thought I was losing my mind during Adam Cole, I almost tore my Achilles tendon jumping out of my chair when Daniel Bryan come out. Or Bryan Danielson now. Yeah. But he gets a humongous ovation. The crowd is chanting yes, 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 of course, as he comes down. Danielson does not chant yes, 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 because he doesn't know what he
he doesn't do it.
He doesn't do it because he doesn't know if that's WWE's intellectual property is the yes chant. So
I think it is.
It probably is. So, and he even said that he even said on the media scrum after the pay-per-view went off the air, he was like, listen, I loved WWE where I worked, but I just wanted a wild phase of my life, And he wanted to see for himself how good Kenny Omega actually is, how good Jungle Boy actually is, how good I don't know who else. I mean, if you want to put Adam Cole in that conversation, even though he debuted along with Bryan here.
I mean, put Cole, Bryan, and Punk in a triple threat.
Could you have imagined 2 for the price of 1? In the main event of the show, Adam Cole came out. I was like, listen, I'm happy with this. If it's not Daniel Bryan, I'm glad it's Adam Cole, but we do get Daniel Bryan,
Yeah.
It was insane.
I remember texting you. I was just like, I was bummed when Adam Cole came out because I was expecting Bryan, kind of like how we all expected Punk at Rampage weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And then he came out and I was kind of bummed, but I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is still a really good get for the company. And then, the 2 for 1, man. You could take 2 for 1 to the bank. It was awesome to not only get Adam Cole, but you got, nuts. WWE's hottest free agent that they couldn't keep in AEW. And it's just like, what is this guy going to do? Because I certainly didn't know who Bryan Danielson was until he went to the old school NXT with the Miz and stuff. And he was still called Daniel Bryanson and then eventually changed to Daniel Bryan. It's going to be interesting to see what Bryan Danielson does wrestling than he did as Daniel Bryan, the entertainer.
He's going to be
sports entertainer.
I think his function in AEW is basically just going to be now the dream match machine, kind of like what AJ Styles was doing 5 years ago. Kind of like what AJ Styles is still doing to this day, because I'm sorry if I keep mixing up the name. I'm just used to
Daniel Bryan.
I'm just calling him Daniel Bryan, but Danielson versus Omega, Danielson versus Punk again, Danielson versus MJF would be pretty freaking epic. Danielson versus Jungle Boy would be great. I mean, he's just going to be churning out dream matches for however long this contract goes. And then when he's ready to go back to WWE after he's done, he can do that if he wants to. I don't know if he is going back to WWE, honestly. I don't want to think too far ahead. But I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the ride. He just got here, and he did get physical. Yeah. He was doing the yes kicks to Nick Jackson, and then he hits the Busaiku knee on the way out, celebrates with the Jurassics and Christian Cage. I'm sensing a blood and guts match with these lads. Could you imagine the Elite versus Danielson? The Elite versus Danielson, Christian Cage, and the Jurassic Express. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But
that'd be a fun match. Or if you had the Lucha Bros and you take out Jurassic Express, maybe. Because, they have the titles.
They do. But we don't know if they're turning heel with Andrade yet. They still have that little, spiel
That's a good
going
point.
on.
They're big old baby fists right now, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, the possibilities are endless. You get 2 for the price of 1. Honestly, this might be one of my favorite pay-per-view endings of all time. It legit is. This is why I love pro wrestling. And Tony Schiavone really put it best. God, I love pro wrestling.
Yeah,
so
100%.
And this show is a big reason why I love pro wrestling. This pay-per-view, honestly, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about this rating for a while, and I haven't done this with any other pay-per-view so far on this channel, but 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I have to.
Wow.
I have to. This was so enjoyable from beginning to end. I mean, Paul Wight versus QT Marshall wasn't a good match, but it achieved its purpose. And even in a match,
you said it's good.
Even in a show with CM Punk's return match, like the big talking points right now are Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. Like they're giving us a lot right now. You know, it's a good time to be a fan, man. It's a good time to be a fan. What'd you think? Final thoughts,
dude. Final thoughts. Yeah. I honestly, since my favorite pay-per-view of all is like WrestleMania 25. That would be a 10 out of 10 for me there. Right? Beginning to end, even with fluffers. And I'd have to agree that, this would be a pay-per-view in a very long time where I watched Bell from the beginning to Bell to the end, promo to promo. And I was like, this is a really good match. Even with some of the athletes that I have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
Like we were talking, like I haven't been watching AEW like weekly until probably a few weeks before the debut of Rampage.
Okay.
Like I've just been kind of like off and on, and I know they have like their YouTube shows and everything else where it's kind of hard to keep up, right? Dark Elevation and all that. And that's why it's kind of hard to keep up. But from bell to bell, the entire show was amazing. So I have to agree. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I mean, even like I said, a tag team match stole the freaking show.
You never see that in WWE right now. You never see that. A tag team match.
Oh, you don't see that anywhere right now.
Oh, no. AEW has the greatest tag team division ever. And now they have so many amazing talents at their disposal. What Tony Khan has built here, unbelievable, unmatched right now. And I think Tony Khan really has a brilliant mind for this business. Everything you've heard about the man is spot on true, I think.
He's a fan.
Just overall. Like all of us.
Great.
Just like all of us.
Yeah.
He knows what the fans want. He's one of us, you know? So he gives us CM Punk's return, and he gives us like debut overload, as we'll call it at the end of the show. Like
honestly though,
it was insane. Like I thought Adam Cole's debut was awesome in its own right, and I was marking out like crazy. But like as soon as they started cutting the heel promo, I was like, there's no way this is the finish. There's no way. I think there's
no way this is the end of the night.
I think there's more. And then freaking Flight of the Valkyries hits, and there's a hip hop beat to it. I'm like, God damn, this is why I love pro wrestling. This pay-per-view for me is right up there with Mania 17, Mania 19, the pay-per-views I grew up with, the greatest pay-per-views of all time in my estimation. But yeah, my friend, thank you so much for joining me. This was a true blast, as always.
No, this was a great conversation. Thank you for having me again.
Totally, man. And this surely, I would definitely expect to see Jacob again on one of these wrestling pods down the line for sure. Absolutely.
For sure.
But guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up. It really helps get this content out there, helps more people see it. Let us know your thoughts on All Out down in the comment section below. Which debut did you mark out for the most? Adam Cole, Daniel Bryan, Ruby Soho, perhaps? What do you think of CM Punk's return? What was your favorite match on the show? Let's discuss it all. Let's have some fun down there. Make some noise. But as far as what you can expect next up, Tomas will be back for sure. Tomas will be back. He's going to be doing so we've got Extreme Rules at the end of the month for sure. And we've got the retros. We're going to keep doing those, pumping those out. I believe this month is Backlash 2003, headlined by Rock versus Goldberg, which should be so much fun. It's a bad show, but
can't wait to hear that one.
For sure. But definitely expect to see Jacob again down the line very soon. But my friends, it's been fun. See you the next one. Commence that back talk.